It's Catfish Week on Dr. Phil.
I hope that Dr. Phil can give my mother the wake-up call that she needs.
Anna hopes to marry Sammie and share his $12 million. But here's the problem.
Sammie is detained in a Nigerian jail, of course, and cannot come home.
How can you have a relationship with a person you've never met or even video chatted?
He explained to me that they only have 2G.
I've Googled in Nigeria, Mom. They have 5G.
He has put a lot of suspicions in my head.
Suspicions? I've showed you facts and evidence.
I'll come to the wedding if it's real. You'll call this whole thing off if it's not. Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
Today's going to be a changing day in your life.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you. Well, last year, the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center reported that catfish victims across the United States over the age of 60 sent $835 million to scammers. You heard that right, $835 million. My guest today, Nino, and his fiancée, Alexandria, believe Nino's mother, Anna, is being scammed by her alleged online boyfriend, Sammie Lee Strong, who claims to be stuck in Nigeria. And 2 years ago, even filed a complaint themselves. Despite having never met in person, Nino and Alexandria say Anna has sent Sammie roughly $120,000 because she's entirely too trusting and is holding on to hope for something that just doesn't exist. Well, you might guess we conducted an investigation to find out more information about Sammie Strong, and our search turned international with unexpected twists and turns. You're going to hear some things today you've never heard. We'll meet Anna as well as share the results of our global investigation a little bit later. But first, let's hear from Nino and Alexandria, who say, I'm the only person Nino's mother will listen to.
One day I was looking at my mom's financial accounts and I noticed that a huge chunk of money was missing.
The initial amount was $45,000 transferred to Nigeria, and that 2 more were in the process.
My mom told me she met a guy online and went in business with him. I lost it. My mom has been duped into sending money to a guy named Sammie Lee Strong.
Anna has gone off the deep end. This whole situation has spiraled out of control.
Here I have a pile of receipts that's over $100,000 worth of cash and gifts.
At the moment, Sammie is claiming to be held up in a detention in Nigeria until the taxes on his $12 million is paid off.
I've tried to convince my mom by showing her all this evidence, and nothing seems to convince her. I've shown my mom catfish episodes from Dr. Phil.
If you notice in his passport picture, there's a woman in the background.
I told her, can't you see that you're being scammed? My mom's response is, well, that's not me. I've even gone as far as to have my mom ask Sammie to take a picture with him holding a sign that says, hi, Anna. Sure enough, Sammie sent my mom a photo. Right away, I could tell that, man, this is a terrible Photoshop job. So I took the picture, reversed imaged it in Google, and this picture came up. I showed my mom both photos, and she just told me, well, they look similar.
How can you have a relationship with a voice? I have pleaded with her and begged her to stop and to see the reasoning behind it.
In my eyes, this guy Sammie is a lying piece of trash. I often wonder, how could my mom be so stupid and fall for this?
Well, Nino, Alexandria, I'm so glad you're here. I'm sorry that we need to be, and I wish we had talked $119,000 ago. She's bought in, right? I mean, heart-wise, emotionally, she's bought in.
Dr. Phil, yeah, she's in it heart and soul. Believes every bit. I would ask for her to think about what she's doing. And I said, Mom, use your brain. I want you to use logic. And she just goes all in with her heart. Well, that could be true, but the universe is a big place, and it could be possible.
Right.
She says, I want a companion so bad. And she's like, it's not even the romantic part. I just want someone to sit next to me, hold my hand, watch a movie with me, go to dinner with me. Like, this guy is filling it with poems and beautiful things that he promises her trips.
And of course, we know from a logical standpoint, and all of us here on our team know from profiling who they target and who responds to this is exactly what you've just described. Desperate people that are lonely and they have a void that needs filling. And the name was a red flag to you, Nino, right? Sammie Strong.
Yeah, I mean, whose name really is that?
Right,
You know?
that's like a cartoon character, right?
He even went as far as to send a fake passport, a Photoshop passport photo. And, you know, I tried to explain to my mother, you know, this guy's not real, you know, and they go through such lengths to...
Well, and listen, you've done a great job. You guys have really been vigilant and diligent. I kind of charted out what you've done. In October of 17, you show her Dr. Phil clips, which I'm pretty direct about this with people, and you write to me. And then April 2017, you file a criminal complaint. So she knows that you're taking this seriously. You file this complaint, and then you block her from the Facebook.
Yeah.
So he can't get to her at that point. And then November 18, you forward emails to yourself. So he's talking to you now, and that's got to be a problem for him. Then May 19, you show Anna the scam alert from the NNPC. And June 19, you have Anna request personalized photo. That's when you say, okay, look, these are jacked photos. He's stolen these, so have him send you one with your name in it. And that's when we get this very childlike Photoshop. Love my Anna banana. And that's the actual photo. Sitting in a restaurant with a menu. And that's a really bad Photoshop. Then in March of 2020, you show her the scam sites that are out there. I mean, there's a lot of these out there. June 2020, you join Anna's bank accounts. June 2020, you email me. Then July 2020, you change her phone number. July, you show her 60 Minutes. August shows scam sites. August 2nd, post on the website for information concerning Sammie Lee Strong. So you didn't just kind of mention this to her. You've been hammering and hammering and hammering. And did she ever get angry with you?
Yeah, she shuts down.
Yeah, there were times when she found out that I'd filed a complaint with the FBI, she got mad at me. My mother hasn't been mad at me since I've been in my teens.
And she heard about it from him as well, because when you blocked him, he sent her an email. And the email, this is from Sammie. He says, please do not neglect the love we share. I never wanted any of this to happen to us. Don't let your son come between us. You can still fight it. Don't give up on us, honey. We are both strong. The Lord is our strength, my super love. You have to unblock me on your Facebook so we can talk. Talking to you is all I need right now. And a whole bunch of cash. I can't stand losing you, honey. So he's blocked. He's frustrated now. So he sends her this email, says, don't let your son come between us, my super love, that's the way they talk in Atlanta. And he sends her this email. What was her response when she got the email?
Well, she was upset. She doesn't know how to unblock. She doesn't know how to do any of that. Usually she comes to us, but I think at that point he got her to open up another Facebook. She has about 3 or 4 accounts on Facebook because every time we block, she doesn't know how to unblock him.
Now, Nino's mom, Anna, says she's a grown woman and she can make her own decisions. Well, we're going to meet her next and find out really what she has to say. If she feels this strongly about it, why was she willing to come here? Is she willing to listen to me? All of this is going to unfold coming up.
I consider Sammie my boyfriend. I love Sammie because he cares for me. In Nino's eyes, Sammie is nothing else but a scammer. This is just not true. What I ultimately want is that Sammie comes back to the United States. If we are compatible, I would want to marry him.
And later,
He's always guilting you, Anna. Like, he's always saying, I'm starving.
you treat me like trash because you don't send me cash.
Friday, families fighting over politics.
My son is a right-wing man.
You believe that Bryson drank the Kool-Aid.
He's not drinking the Kool-Aid. He made the Kool-Aid.
The argument got ugly.
It was a brawl.
We're still not on speaking terms.
Just because I voted for a person, that's the reason not to talk to me?
Politicians come and go. Daughters and dads, you get one each.
That's Friday. Then on Monday,
Hitting everybody!
teenage tantrums
You suck!
turned around.
It's like I black out and that there's someone telling me to say that.
That's Monday.
For the past 4 years, my mom, Anna, has been in an online relationship with someone that she's never met, face-to-face or live video chat.
Anna is very sweet, but oftentimes she is very naive.
I have a hard time understanding how my mom can hold out hope for this scam artist.
She will only trust Dr. Phil's opinion.
I hope that Dr. Phil can give my mother the wake-up call that she needs.
Anna's son, Nino, and his fiancée, Alexandria, are 100% convinced she's being scammed by Sammie Lee Strong and want her relationship to end today. But Anna says Nino has it all wrong. She says, you're just wrong. You don't understand that her boyfriend, Sammie, is dependable, he's caring, and he's honest. She's never met him, but she knows this about him. In the future, she hopes to marry Sammie and share his $12 million. The only problem is that Sammie is currently detained in a Nigerian jail, of course, and cannot come home.
Being in a relationship with Sammie has been a big roller coaster ride. I consider Sammie my boyfriend. I love Sammie because he cares for me. Sometimes he calls me Anna Banana. He calls me sweetheart, you're my flame, you're my super love. My words of affection for Sammie is I call him darling. Sammie is a very interesting gentleman. He grew up in Atlanta. His wife died of cancer. He has a daughter named Sophia. He moved to Nigeria for work. Sammie works in the oil business. Over the years, I certainly helped Sammie out. I sent him an iPhone, I sent him Apple Watches, I sent him a computer, I sent him a pair of boots. Over the years, I figured I sent him at least $100,000. Last year he was to come home. I sent him $7,000 to renew his passport and his plane ticket. But just days before coming home, the Nigerian government told him he had to pay the taxes on his earnings. For the past 2 months, Sammie has been detained in the Delta prison in Sepali. A business associate of Sammie, Mr. Dan, and a friend has been visiting him in the prison. Mr. Dan's telling me that Sammie is really sick. I would like to help Sammie out, but at this time, my son is controlling the money. In Nino's eyes, Sammie is nothing else but a scammer. In my eyes, this is just not true. Yeah, I have a relationship with him.
Mom.
Okay, I know. Sammie is kind, caring, he is very loving. What I ultimately want is that Sammie comes back to the United States. If we are compatible, I would want to marry him.
Well, Anna, I'm so glad to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Dr. Phil.
I want to approach this in an open-minded way as I possibly can. I want to hear everything that you have to say. Are you willing to hear everything I have to say?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, now, let me ask you, if it turns out that he's for real and is the love of your life, you want to get married, right?
Yes, I would like to, yes.
Okay, and he said he wants to get married.
Yes.
Okay, and let me tell you, if that's the case, where would the marriage take place?
Here in the United States.
Okay, it would happen here.
Yes.
Okay, and let me tell you, if that's the truth, and he's real, and you get married here, will you invite me to the wedding?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. I'll come.
Okay.
I'll come. Robin and I will be there.
Okay.
She'll be your flower girl. All right?
Okay.
Now, if it turns out that he's not, and that is an undeniable truth, and we'll see whether it is or it's not, are you open to that being a reality as well?
Yes, yes.
I'll come to the wedding if it's real. You'll call this whole thing off if it's not.
Yes.
What is it that your son, Nino, just doesn't understand about Sammie?
You know, he doesn't understand that I really have a relationship with him.
Uh-huh.
And he thinks he's just a scammer. You know, he tells me he's somebody behind the computer in Nigeria, and that's what they do. You know, they
how can you have a relationship with a person you've never met or even video chatted?
He can video chat. He can
and
video
he can't.
chat.
He's just telling you, no, I can't.
You got him an Apple phone. It has the screen that he goes, hi, Anna, but...
He explained to me that they only have 2G.
Okay, but his daughter, another one, doesn't have it.
I've Googled in Nigeria, Mom. They have 5G there, 4G. You can see the little thing, the little button. It's available that you can chat.
But
and I'm not lying to you.
I have tried many times to video chat, and it always just turns off.
Because he's hitting deny.
To make matters worse, he's not only in prison, he's sick in prison.
Yes.
What's she asking you to do?
She expects me to help him. He could get out if the bail is paid.
You believe that if he could speak to you, he would?
Yes, with video chats. Yeah.
Okay. Look at these screens here. See these screens?
Yes.
These are people. Everybody wave to Anna. See? These people are from all over the United States. We've got people on these screens from Australia right now. Okay. This is my virtual audience.
Okay.
That's technology. Okay? Okay? It's from all over the world. And listen, I have people on the ground in Nigeria. We have investigators on the ground in Nigeria. And they'll walk down the street and tell you, I got 5 bars and 4G walking down the street in Nigeria. Everybody, just like walking down the street in Atlanta, Omaha, LA, Kansas City. That's not a country that doesn't have technology, let me assure you. So I can promise you it is available. But you feel like you know a lot about Sammie Lee Strong. And here's what you know. He was born January 7th of 1955, right?
Yes.
And you say age is unknown. Well, that's not true. You know what his birthday was, so you know his age. You do the math. Occupation, oil and gas. Exact position is unknown, but you know he's in the oil and gas business, right?
Yes.
Okay. You don't know exactly where he was born, but you know that he's lived in Atlanta, Georgia, and his parents are Spanish. Relationship status is he's a widower. His wife died of cancer. He has one daughter, Sophia Lee, age unknown, and he has one adopted son who's 20 in Nigeria. And his current location, unfortunately for him, is Delta State Prison, Sapila, Nigeria, okay? Now, he has a U.S. passport, so he's a citizen here in the U.S., right? And he has a friend, Mr. Dan.
Yes.
Right? And you talk via Facebook, email, and the WhatsApp, and he wants to share with you $12,003,500. That's what y'all are going to live on when he gets back here, if you can just get him the money to get back here.
Yes, that's kind of...
Right?
Yes.
You're counting on that, so the money that you've sent him, you'll get back.
I hope so, yes.
He never promised her anything.
When I found out that she made this initial investment, I said, well, Mom, where's the paperwork? You know, you don't just send off, you know, $44,000 and don't have anything to show for it. Sure enough, a couple days later, I get emailed back some documents. Emailed in an email.
Right.
And I look at them and I go, Mom, these are, again, like Photoshopped. I click on them and there's this, you know, you can see where all the images were cut and pasted.
Yeah, we'll look at those in a minute. Because originally you invested in his oil and gas business, right?
Yes, I
$50,000?
Well, yeah, 44, 45,
okay.
yeah.
And to make matters worse, he's not only in prison, so you're in love with a jailbird. He's not only in prison, he's sick in prison.
Yes.
And they don't have great medical care in prison because you got a text, well, you've had a text from Mr. Dan and from his daughter, Sophia Lee. And Sophia Lee says, I have been worried sick, in shock when I heard about the condition of my dad yesterday from his friend, Mr. Dan. Right now, I'm in a confused state and depressed. He has been the only one I have since I lost my mom to cancer. I even lost my boyfriend to the coronavirus. I'm in Spain. I had nowhere else to go. And now the bank has laid claim on our home. Please, he is all I have got left. So she's saying, please, what? What's she asking you to do?
She expects me to help him. Maybe.
In what way?
Well, to get him out of prison.
What way?
The first, so Mr. Dan can pay his fee to get out of prison.
You can buy your way out of prison?
He could get out if the bail is paid. My son, he has put a lot of suspicions in my head.
Suspicions? I've showed you facts and evidence.
Dr. Phil, I really need to know if it's a scammer behind the computer or is he real?
The next day after you heard from Sophia Lee, you got the following text from Mr. Dan. Mr. Sammie is not doing so good at all. He is critically ill, and they don't give him any medical attention in there. I was in tears when I saw him. We have been waiting for your source over months now, and Sammie is going through hell. Is there any time Mr. Sammie needs your support? That time is now. Because if anything goes wrong, all the support you have been rendering will be useless and void. I know you trying your best, but Sammie deserves better right now.
Yes, that's what Mr. Dan.
Okay, so his daughter and Mr. Dan are hitting you up saying you've got to send money. He's critically ill. He's going through hell. If you don't send money now, he's going to die, and everything you've sent so far is just going to be wasted.
Well, Dr. Phil, this is really why am I here. You know, if I really need to know if it's a scammer behind the computer or is he real?
If this was somebody else, not you, and this was a friend of yours, and you were reading these messages they were getting, you would be suspicious, right?
Yes. And, you know, I mean, my son, he has put a lot of suspicions in my head.
Suspicions? I've showed you facts and evidence. Suspicions like, oh, hey, I think of this. And I go, Mom, look, here's evidence.
And, you know, guilt is a powerful motivator, right? And you've had messages from Sammie that are designed, I mean, this is my profession. It's clear they're designed to make you feel guilty. May 7th of 17, he sends you, I'm feeling depressed. I was told, and by the authorities today, The transaction you made in the bank has still not been released because of the report your son made at the bank. The funds you sent is still on pending. Honey, you need to go cancel that report. If you don't do that, I'm afraid I'm going to lose this project. And you know how long I've been working to carry out this project. You know I sold all my belongings. Put it at the center of your heart that I will always love you. December 5th, 19, your actions is really showing no bit of love anymore. Help me out if you really want to help me. Nobody deserves to be treated in this awful way. Do you really still want me to come home? January 7th, you are my source of joy, and yet you ignoring me like I'm some piece of unwanted trash? It seems when you angry, you just burst in anger and forget the life we share.
He's always guilting you, Anna. Like, he's always saying, I'm starving. I'm starving. Your family
when
hates
you
me.
look at these, I mean, you've had these spaced out over time, but when you look at these side by side, do you see the pattern here?
Yes.
I'm feeling depressed. You know how long I've been working on this. Put this at the center of your heart. Your actions is really showing no bit of love anymore. Help me out if you really want. Nobody deserves to be treated this awful way. You're my source of joy, yet you're ignoring me like unwanted trash. What a horrible person you are. And you could fix this if you would just send me money.
I did kind of stop talking to him for a while after he said that, because I thought that was very unfair.
We blocked him.
Yeah.
I blocked him on the phone.
He didn't say, you don't tell me you love me anymore. You're not calling me anymore. You don't send me letters or notes anymore. He's saying, you're not sending me cash. You treat me like trash because you don't send me cash.
Sounds pretty horrible, huh?
It's something to think about. Anna claims her boyfriend, Sammie Lee Strong, is a man of integrity and caring, and that he is honest. Nino says, whoa, you shouldn't even use those words in the same sentence with that man's name. Well, it's time to start digging a little and see really if everything we just clicked through about who this man is checks out or it doesn't. You're not going to want to miss the investigative trail. You have no idea where this is headed. He says he was detained by the tax people and he needs bail money, and then he became critically ill in jail. He's had a pretty rough go of it.
Hey, Anna, if he's being detained by the tax people and he can't talk, I heard you spoke to him today.
The problem with my mother is that her heart is always bigger than her brain.
I mostly think with my heart because I have deep feelings for him.
In my mom's mind, Sammie Strong's gonna get back from Nigeria with $12 million and they're gonna live happily ever after. Hate to break it to you, Mom, but that's not what's gonna happen. I would bet that the person that she sees in those photos is not the person she is talking to.
I can bet $1 billion that the person she's speaking to is not the guy in the photograph.
Anna says Nino has been skeptical of Sammie since the beginning and doesn't want to choose between two of the most important men in her life. We're a very transient society. People travel around the world all the time, and you can get from Nigeria to the U.S. for a couple $1,000. But Sammie Lee hasn't been able to do that, and he's given you a lot of reasons, right, that he's not here.
Yes.
One was he left all of his equipment at the airport. He doesn't talk to you because he can't video chat because they need 3G and it's just not available in Nigeria. Well, we know that's not true.
Yes,
If you believe me, then you know that's not true. He dropped and broke his phone.
Yes.
Well, you'd think with $120,000, he could have picked up another one. You can get a flip phone for about $9, but he says he's saving money for the oil business. He can't fly home because of unpaid taxes. He said that he needs money because his feet hurt and he needs boots.
Yes.
He sold the equipment for money, but it wasn't enough for taxes. So I guess he went back to the airport and got the equipment he left there and sold it, but it still wasn't enough for taxes. And he doesn't have any food because he spent all of his money. But if he sold all of his equipment for money and it wasn't enough for the taxes, then he would still have that money. But he says he doesn't have any money for food. He says he was detained by the tax people and he needs bail money, and then he became critically ill in jail. So he's had a pretty rough go of it.
Yes, you know, I was really angry about that he gave supposedly all the money to the tax people. I told him, why didn't you keep some money for food?
Hey, Anna, I heard that if he's being detained by the tax people and he can't talk, I heard you spoke to him today.
Well, Mr. Dan went to the detention center, and they used Mr. Dan's phone.
In detention, you're not allowed to bring in phones. You do know that. But he called you today.
Yes.
Why we were here.
Yes.
Yes.
What do you have to say?
Mr. Dan actually was just talking to Sammie. He just was begging me, please send money to Mr. Dan. I need to get out of here. I'm sick, and I am so worried about my daughter. I have not been able to talk to her, and she's worried about me. And just basically really, really begging me to help him to get out of detention.
Do you think that somebody that really loved you and knew that you were retired and on a fixed income and didn't have a lot of money and all, do you think someone like that that really loved you would even allow you to give them money? I mean, have any of these conversations been, what can I do for you? You haven't had those kind of conversations, have you?
No, it was always about, honey, when I get back, I will take care of you, and everything, anything you want, I will get for you. And
it gets better. When I had been put on my mother's account, he now asked my mom to mortgage the house.
Of course.
So that she could send him the tax money. Internet.
That's one thing I would never do, jeopardize my house, you know that.
This was May 12th of 2020. But I got to searching, and look what I found.
Don't shut down now. Yeah. We're here.
Anna says two of the things that she cherishes most about Sammie are his romantic messages and poems, because he is romantic, right?
Yes, very.
Yeah. And here's one of those messages. This is to Anna from Sammie Lee Strong. I know I can't give you the whole world, but I can promise you I will always love you. My heart is yours. I will never break your heart. I will be right beside you as we chase our dreams together. And you will never have to wonder if I still care. He's pretty well spoken there. And this was May 12th of 2020. But I got to pecking around and searching, and look what I found. I found this message January 18th, 2015, on a site, and it says, I know I can't give you the whole world, but I promise you I will always love you. My heart is yours. I will never break your heart. I will be right beside you as we chase our dreams together, and you will never have to wonder if I still care. So I will never break your heart. I will never break your heart. We will chase our dreams together, and you will never have to wonder if I still care. We will chase our dreams together. You will never have to wonder if I still care. Word for word. He didn't write that. Somebody else wrote that back in 2015. Anna says Sammie writes beautiful poems and has just a great way with his words. Here's another example. This is a Facebook message. A day without you is a day without hope. A day without you is a day without happiness. A day without you is a day without existence. A day without you is a day without sun. A day without you is a day without warmth. A day without you is a day without a kind word. A day without you is a day without laughter. A day without you is a day without kindness. A day without you is a day without a friend. A day without you is a day without love. August 30, 2018. He's got a way with words. Or does he?
Yes, he does.
Well,
Has a way with words.
Well, this is from a poem, A Day Without You. And it was written in February of 2009 by Joseph Boris. He didn't write that. He plagiarized it from somebody that wrote it 11 years ago. It's on their list. They have a book. They go through the book and say, okay, I need something to send to Anna. Let's see, here's one.
See, Mom?
And they send it to you. He didn't write that. He plagiarized it from someone that wrote it 11 years ago. He cut and pasted it into a Facebook message to you and sent it to you and melted your heart.
Don't shut down now. Yeah. We're here. I can see your face.
These are facts. Now, I'm not, you know, he didn't write that. He stole it. He stole it from someone else, claimed it was his own, and sent it to you.
He's stealing.
That's what we know so far. Now, when Anna met Sammie Lee Strong, and I say met on the internet, he claimed to be living in Atlanta, Georgia. Well, so we knocked on the door at the house Sammie Lee said he lived in. Who answered? We'll tell you when we come back. Now, unfortunately, we are out of time today, but there's a lot more left to uncover about Anna's online boyfriend, Sammie Lee Strong. Now, tune in tomorrow when we knock on the door where Sammie Lee Strong claims he lived before moving to Nigeria in 2017. Who answered that door, and what did we find out when they did? We also found the man in this picture. You won't believe where he is and what he has to tell Anna. This is a story so entangled, it led us down an unexpected path filled with unbelievable and international twists and turns.
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil, Anna believes her boyfriend, Sammie Lee Strong, is in a Nigerian jail.
This is the man that you have been told is SammieLee Strong.
But there's more. Is this man really a victim?
She has evidence that you have been training Nigerian boys to use your pictures to scam people.
How I can do something.
Do you train Nigerian boys on how to scam women on the internet?
That's tomorrow, all part of Dr. Phil's Catfish Week.
You see what I mean? I'd like to thank all of my guests today. For more information about today's show, log on to drphil.com. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and we're going to continue the conversation there. And by the way, I get involved in those conversations, so if you've got comments or questions, I just might pop in and respond. Don't forget about Robin's podcast, I've Got a Secret. She doesn't keep any secrets. She should say, I've got secrets I'm going to share, because that's what she does. We'll see you next time.
like to be a part of our virtual audience and you have a computer with a camera, log on to drphil.com and click Be Part of the Audience.